So let's look at some of the string functions in PHP. Before we begin with the string function, we must understand that string is nothing but a collection of characters, where every character is a 256 bit value. So that means to say that you cannot have a non-ASCII content as a string. So you can represent a string in the form of a ordinary constant, string constant, or a string variable. Let's look at the different ways in which we can manipulate the strings in PHP. Now, whenever you represent a string in a variable, you must understand that the string is nothing but it can be interpreted like a special type of array, and you can get each and every individual values within that string. So let me take a simple example here. I have a script here, and let me represent a string. I will say str equal to say Mangalore, and then I can treat this as a array. Even though it's a string, I can say this is str of 0. What's the value? And I can say maybe /n. I can say what is the value of str of say 5. So if I run this particular, you will notice that if I try to run this one, you will notice at the end, you will notice here that I'm trying to give the string of 0, and it is m, and the 5th value from here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be L, and you will notice that it's going to give you the value of L. So you can treat a string as though it is an array, and naturally you can use a for loop to go through the each and every element within the string. So I can say for I is equal to 0, I less than, I can use a built-in function which I have already used, and that is the string length, which will give me the length of the string, and then we can just use this to run this. So if I try to do it, I'm going to get all m here. The reason is I have not used the variable I here. And now if I try to run it, you will notice that it's going to give me all the values of I, and you will notice that it should run. So you will notice that it is executing. So you notice here that I am able to get all the values of the string. So even though it's a string, I'm treating it like a simple array, and you can always do that. Let's look at the different functions which are there in the string. So this is what I've done. So you can treat the string like an array. Let's look at various built-in functions that help us to manipulate the string. One of them is the length of the string, which is already been demonstrated, which will give you the number of characters which are there within the string. So you just say str followed by the string that you want to find the length. For example, hello, how are you is the text here, and if I use the str length, it's going to return an integer value representing the number of characters which are there within the string. String reverse is used to reverse the content of the string. So I can use string reverse to reverse the characters that stuck in between. So let me quickly demonstrate that. So you have str reverse followed by the string, and then if I run this one, I must be able to get the reverse of the string that is represented here. So this is a very simple function. I'll quickly go through the other function. String position will give you the position of one string inside the other. If no string matches, then it will give you the value as false. So you want to find a haystack of a needle in the haystack. If it is found, if the needle is found, wherever the position where the needle is found, it's going to return that value back to me. Otherwise, it will return a false. We have an offset. Offset indicates from where you want to start searching. So let's look at a simple example. So I'm going to use a simple thing here. I will use str position string, and I want to find where is A within this string. So string is Mangalore. I want to find the location of this. So if I run it, it's going to say that it is found in the location 1. This is the location 0, and the next one is the location 1. Suppose if I want to find where is the location of this one, this is a string, where is that you're going to find it? It's going to give me the value where it has found, and that's the location 3. This one is 0, position 0, 1, 2, and 3. 3 will be that, so it's a 0 index based searching. Now suppose if you want to find the value which is not there, and if you try to run it, you will not get anything. The reason is it's false. It's returning a false, indicating that the string does not exist in the value. Let's look at the other version of it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say the offset. Now, if you look at the specification, it says it tells you where to start. From where you want to start searching. So what is the offset? What do I mean by saying that is, you can say that don't start from the first location. Initially, it is searching from the starting 0th location. I can say skip few of the things, and then you have a lot of problems. And then I can say that leave some space and then start searching. So that's the offset. So I can say search for A, but you leave first 2 positions. So I can say that. So now if I try to run it, you are going to see that it has found in the A in the 4th location. Why it has found in the 4th location? It is 0, 1, 2. I said start from the 2, then it starts searching from the 2nd location onwards, and you notice that the 3rd is D and the 4th will be the A. So it's the offset is how many spaces to be left out. Now it may be required for you because suppose you have a product number like PZ101 something E and something like this, and these numbers have their own meanings. Whenever serial numbers are given, they are concatenated, the manufacturing year, the manufacturing location, and so on and so forth. Everything is concatenated and they create one serial number. And you would like to search for a specific value. For example, your university register number may start like 2013, 13 followed by the code for MSc, followed by the course code of the college, followed by the sequence number like this. So even though it looks like a single lengthy number, it is actually splitted and they put the values there. Now you may like to search whether the student is St. Aloysius College. If the St. Aloysius has a code number 12 for Mangalore University, then you may like to search for that value 12 after leaving out some searches. So you may not be really interested in searching all this one because 12 may appear here also if the student has registered on the 2012, then their starting number will be 12. So you may like to search for a specific value within the given string. In that case, you can go for the position. You can say whether it is found or not. You really get that well after leaving out some location. If you blindly search the position right from the beginning, what will happen is a student who has done registration in the year 12 will always be true because all of them will come out. So you may not be interested in the student who got registered in the year 2012. You want to search from 2013. So you can say that don't start searching from the beginning. Search, leave out some spaces. Then in between, try to search for the value 12. And if that is the case, we may like to extract only those students of St. Aloysius College to update their marks or to display their marks. And it depends on what type of application that you are using. So these kind of simple functions are really useful in many scenarios. So here one more example is there. So we have this ABCDEF, and I'm trying to search for ABC. If it is not found, if it is false, I will say nothing. If it is not false, I will say it is found at a particular location. Again, we can search for the numbers also, because when you put something in a single quote, it just means to say that it is a string. Now let's look at the other one, and that is the substring. Substring function is we want to extract a smaller string out of a given string. You take a string, you specify the starting location, and you specify the length of it. So let's go ahead and let's see the simplest version first. So we have this substring here, and if you don't specify the length, it means to say that you want to, from that location, you want to specify find anything. So I'm going to say, give me a substring from the starting location. So I can say my starting location is 3 and my length is 2. So if I try to run this one, you will notice that starting location is 3, so 0, 1, 2, and this is the third location. After that, I want 2 characters, so it's going to return the value as GA. Now, if I don't specify this last one, what's going to happen? If I don't do that, and if I run it, notice that from that location, it will return everything. So starting from the second location, 0, 1, 2. So I said third location here. So it is 0, 1, 2, and 3. This is the location. From here till the length of it. Now there are additional things which are a bit confusing, and those are what will happen if the starting location is 0 or negative. If the starting location is a positive number, it is the offset that you are giving. If the starting number is 0, it is obvious one, you start from the beginning. If the starting location is negative, however, it specifies that you want to search from the end. So it just means to say that start from the end and get the value. So let's look at the same old thing. I'm going to go with the previous example. So I'm going to use this one. This was what I have given last time. I'm going to go here, and this time I'm going to say starting from -3. So first time it is +3. Next time it is -3 and 2 characters. So let's go ahead and let's look at the answer here. I'm going to put a /n here so that it comes in 2 lines. So if you notice here, starting from 3, 2 is 0, 1, 2 and 3 and 2. So you get this one, 3 and 2. The last one is starting from -3, 2. So if you start taking from here, -1, -2, -3. So from the end you get this -3. Then you are saying 2 locations. So -3, then 2 location, and that is 1. So if I say minus 4 and then try to run it, it's going to be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So this will be L here and 2 locations, and it's going to be L4. So from the, if we specify the start as minus, it's going to go to the other side and it's going to get it. Now there is still more confusing thing about it, and that is what if the length itself is varying. So length is optional. If you don't specify the length, I have already told you, it's going to go from that location to the end of this thing. If length is positive, from that location, number of it. If length is negative, it says from the end how many characters are to be extracted. So bit difficult to grasp. So let's look at this example. But before I go to this example, let's say minus 4 and minus 2. It was giving me the value as minus the LO. It was giving, and it was giving GA. What if I say 3 and minus 2 here? Now before I do that thing, I'm going to show you the previous value here. This was the original one without minus 2. Now I'm giving the length as minus 2. What's going to happen if I try to do it? And you notice if both of them were positive, from the third location it gave me 2 values. If one of them is negative, it gave me the minus 2 values. So let's take this one. What is the starting location is minus, it is 3 here. So if 2 was not there, if this value was not there, it would have given me, so remember, if this value, the length is not there, from the third location it will give me all the values. Now what I am saying is from here minus 2, from here up to the end, but the last 2 is not required. So from just to give you, if it is confusing, let me, now without this I'm going to put that thing. So this is without anything, without the length. Let me run it again. Now 3, 2 means from here 3 and 2, G and A will be there, that is it. If just 3 was there, from 3 onwards till the end of this thing, from 3 onwards till the end of this thing, that is it. Now I am saying last 2 are not required. From 3 till the end, but last 2 are not required. So from 3 till the end, but last 2 are not required. So it just means to say that GALO. From 3, it would have been till the end like this, but now I'm saying that the last 2 letters are not required. Now what if I say last, say 1 letter is not required, and let me run it. From 3, it would have been GALORA, but I'm saying last one is not required. Now I'm going to count this one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5. What if I say it is minus 6? So if I run this now, you notice that it's not going to return anything. The reason is from 3 till the end there are 5 letters up there. Now I'm saying leave out 6. So it is not possible. And the string is gone, and it goes up. Now let's go to the more confusing thing, and that is what if 2 of them were negative altogether. So I'm going to go and I'm going to paste it here, and this time I'm going to make the one as minus. So it is minus 4, minus 2, and minus 4, 2, and minus 4, minus 2. Let me run it now. Let's look at this one. I am not taking this because up to here it's not my problem. So this line is because, blank line is because of this. Now minus 4, minus 2 is, I told this says from last 4 2 characters. What happened? Minus 2, minus 2. It is one and the same. Let me try to go and let me take minus 1 and 1 here. So let's look at what is it going to. Let me run it now, and let's see the difference. So you notice this time it makes a huge difference. Minus 4. What's the meaning of saying minus 4? From the end, last 4 characters. So this means from the end go to the end, select last 4 characters, and then 1 says up last 4, then select 1 out of this. From here, last 4 characters and get 1, the first character out of it. So it's going to give it. What is the meaning of this one? From the end, last 4, but don't select the last one. That is the meaning of saying -1. Don't select the last one. So what is it going to do? So from it is up to here, but not the last one. Bit confusing, but if you try doing it, you are going to get that thing. So very bit confusing, and it could be asked for 1 mark question. What will be the output of this? Very you have to think a bit in order to do it. I'm not going to explain this one because it's already done. STR is one more thing. It searches one string inside the other string. So if the string is found, it's going to return the remaining string. Otherwise, it's going to return the null string. So let's look at that in action. So these are not really required. So I'm going to go str, so string, and I'm going to say find GAL. Now, if you notice, when I use the strPOS position was giving me the place where the match was found, but this does slightly different. Once it finds the match, so GAL is found here, whatever that comes after the match will be returned to me. So from here, the match GAL will match here. From this place onwards, whatever the remaining string will be returned back to me. Suppose if I say select AN, the match will come here. It's going to match at this place. So if I run it now, you notice that AN, the match was found, the remaining string will be returned back to me. Suppose if I say BAN, it is not there. So it's going to return a false to me, and the false will not be represented there. It means to say that it is false. One important thing is this a case sensitive. So will it find the same thing? You notice that it is case sensitive, and in fact most of your scripts are case sensitive. Let's go ahead and let's go to the next one. A few examples over here. So here I'm trying to say hello, how are you? And I'm trying to find how. So what's it going to return is how are you? So it finds a match how here, and then onwards it will return the remaining string. Suppose if I have an email here, and then I want to find the at here, and I'm going to get the remaining part. At will be matched here, and I'm going to get the remaining part. This can be used to extract the username from if the email ID is given, and if you want to extract the email ID, not the at part, then you can use it carefully with the remaining one to get the. So this is this one. The next one is string comparison. STR comparison. This function you have written in the C++ or C programming language, wherein you are asked to compare 2 strings. If the 2 strings matches perfectly, it is 0. If the first string is less than the second string, it is negative. If the first string is greater than the second string, it is positive. It's the same thing. So you have this hello world, it's going to return 0 because 2 strings are same. So let's look at a very quick example of STR comparison. Suppose if you want to know whether, say, strcmp, and suppose if you want to know whether a cat is greater than, say, rat, and if you try to run it, you're going to get it as 1. I'm sorry, the rat will make it as small case. Both are in the small case because otherwise it's going to be the thing. The reason is, the ASCII value of the capitals are less than the small case one. So you get -1 because the cat C is less than R. But I use in the beginning, I use capital R. capital R, capital A comes after the capital, small case a comes after the capital Z. You know the ASCII coding, so the 64 onwards, so up to 90 are your capitals. Then I think 93 onwards you get the small case values. So small case ASCII values are always greater than. Now, if you are comparing cat with the cat, then naturally this is going to be 0. And if you compare rat, that means the first string is greater than the second string, it's going to be 1, saying that the first string is greater than the second. If the first string is greater than the second one, it's going to be positive. If first string is less than the second string, it is negative. If both of them are same, it's going to be this one. Now, I think you have already done this kind of work in the C program. Cats means the length is greater, so cats is always greater than. STR comparison, the previous one, is case sensitive. This is one more confusing thing. STR CMP is case sensitive, whereas STR case CMP is case insensitive. It's usually it is a confusing thing. People believe that STR case is case sensitive. It is case insensitive. That means it will not distinguish between capitals and small case. Whereas the previous one, STR CMP, is actually a case sensitive. It distinguishes between capital and small case. So that's the only difference here. This will not match STR case if it is coming. It will not match the cases. It will just go for the characters comparison. So you have the hello and the small case hello. STR case will be, both of them will be compared to equal. Then you have the two things. You have a CAR here. This is a different case. In the first case, both of them will not match. In the second one, they will match. The reason is it is a case. So it will not. There is one more thing, and that is STR N CMP. The N says that how many characters to be matched. So you may have a very lengthy string. I want to only compare the first 3 characters, not all the characters within it. So again, you can use it for serial number matching or anything within that thing. Like the result is coming, or some code is where you just want to compare only the first part. For example, you have this ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4 and ABCD 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to only compare this part, the first 4 characters, not the remaining characters. So I can say STR EN CMP. It's the same thing, but you are giving an offset saying that I want to just compare 6 characters. Again, that can also be used with the STR N, can also be used in the case insensitive way. So you can say N case CMP. That means to say that you are not interested in the case, but only the first 6 characters in this case. So you can go for that. The other one is the trim. Trim is used to reduce the blank spaces from the 2 sides. So when you ask the user to enter the username or anything, sometimes people have a bad habit, they put the spaces and then type the name. So if you want to truncate all the spaces which are there in the beginning and the end, you can use the trim function. So let's look at a quick example of this. So I'm going to put spaces here, and in order to just say that there is a space, I'm going to use the pipe symbol. I'm going to use the pipe symbol here, then concatenate with the $str, and then again pipe symbol to say that where it is ending, and let me use the echo and /n followed by strlen of the string. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same old trick here, but with the and /n, and then I'm going to say that trim this one. So I'm going to say trim the string, and I'm going to say trim the trimmed length. So that means to say that find the length, but trim it first and get the length. Let me run it and let's see the difference. You notice here there is a space. I think that 5 character went off. So there is a space here and there is a space here, and the total length was 14. Whereas when I trim it, the spaces which were before it and the spaces after this has been truncated, and you notice that both the pipe symbols are very close now, because remember that pipe will not be taken out. Pipe is concatenated to the original string. I am only manipulating the original string, not the pipe here. So the spaces are removed and you're going to get it. Now you can also use the other symbol like /t, you are already familiar, the tab characters. So you can use the tab characters, and then if you run it, you will notice that it is still lengthier because it has put the tab there in between. But when you say trim it, it will trim even the tabs and /n, anything. All the white space characters will be trimmed out. You can exclusively specify which one you want to trim. For example, I can only specify, I can say that only trim the spaces but not the tabs. So here I am saying only trim the spaces. Now if I run this one, you will notice that the length has changed, and you notice that there is still this much of space. You notice that this length here, and if you notice these lengths, they are not the same because the spaces which were here are being pulled out. Spaces after this T are being pulled out, but the tab still remains there. That is because I said trim the spaces. Now suppose if I had like this, some spaces, and like this, and now you notice that the tabs are there at the end, tabs are there at the beginning. I can go here and I can then say trim the tabs but not the spaces. So just trim the tabs from here, tabs from here, but not the remaining spaces. Now if I run it, you will notice that that spaces are still here, this space is still here, this space is still here. The tab has been truncated. However, what will happen if I put the extra space here? In this case, what is it going to do? Now, if I run it, you notice that both of them are now same length. You notice they are of the same length. The reason is trim will work only at the two sides. At the two sides, you don't have the /t here. The starting and ending /t is not there. Instead of that, space is there. So you said ignore spaces. So they are not coming at the end. So it just says whatever that is there, that remains. It also means to say that if you have like this, Bangalore and Mangalore, it will not remove the spaces in between Bangalore and Mangalore. Only the outermost spaces or outermost white characters are pulled out, not the inner one. So here, outermost you said pull the outermost tab from the two sides. But what happened here when you say this was /t, you said remove the outermost tabs, but the outermost side tabs are not there. So it went there and it searched that there are no tabs, but the string is ending with the spaces. So it said at the end there are no tabs or there, I'm not going to touch it. In between it is there. That's the your problem. So I'll come back to the original version without anything. There is a tab in between Mangalore and Bangalore. So does it mean that it's going to trim out the tab in between Mangalore and Bangalore? So I'm going to run it. You notice that the tab is still active. In between Mangalore and Bangalore, the tab was there. You said trim from the two extreme ends, not in the middle. So trim will not go and search for the other things. It will touch from the two sides, the extreme side, and it will not touch the in between things. So when somebody is typing their names, for example, they type Ganesh Prasad. So before Ganesh, if they put the space, you can trim off. After Prasad, if they put some spaces, you can trim off. But in between, if they put the extra spaces, then trimming will not work. Then you will have to go for some other technique to trim out the spaces in between the two words. So that trick you have to try on your own. Identical to this one, you have L trim and R trim. The word is obvious. L trim will trim from the left side of the spaces. R trim will do it from the right side. So if I run it, you notice that the left side it is trimmed. The right side it is not touched. Identical to this, you have the R trim which will work in the opposite direction. It will trim it from the right side. So if I run it now, you will notice that from the right side the space have been pulled out. From the left side the space still remains as it is, and the values of the corresponding length it will show. You can below that it is showing the same length. So this is trim, and you can specify trim the null character tab n vertical breaks, you know very well, the carriage written or the ordinary spaces. So this will trim the things. Now this will right trim it. The other one is left trim it. The other good one is the converting it to uppercase, lowercase, or sentence case, as well as the word casing. So, for example, let's go here. Take the previous one. I'm going to use here itself. So, SCR to uppercase. The other part is of no use. I put the boundary here to say that it's not going to touch, it's not going to convert something spaces into uppercases. It will not try that. So Bangalore and Mangalore. Again, if you want, if you are too crazy, you can say STR to lower and get them everything back from upper to lower. So everything it will convert it to uppercase, and then it will bring it back to lowercase. So this will make it as upper, and again you are converting it back to lowercase. Everything will come to the this one. And let's go to the next one, and the next one is UC words. So it will convert everything into, I'm going to make this n small case, and there is a space here, there is a space here, and Bangalore. So uppercase words. So I'm going to try this one. You notice that every word is the starting letter is made as, it's like title case. Some people call it as title case. And let's go to the next one. And that is uppercase. You see first. Done it. I think I want to pull up. The reason is it assumes that the first something is not there in it. So M, it's like when you start a sentence, you want the first letter of the sentence to be in capital. Remaining, you are not going to get anything in the capitals. What will happen if this was in capital? So let's run it, and you notice that it is going to touch only the first character. If this first character of this sentence, like if you start a sentence, the first character is in small case, it will capitalize it. Remaining, it will not touch. So in between, in your sentence, in between the sentence, you may have something in capitals, like you may write some formula or something that makes sense to your sentence. In that case, it's not going to touch. So let's go ahead. This is going to be in uppercase, and this is going to be the lowercase. The other one is the UC first. The first one will be made as capitals, and the remaining will be as it is. It will not touch it. UC words, it's going to make every word, the first letter of every word in the uppercase. Some people call it as title case. STR replace, it is used to find and replace one word with the other. So suppose you want to find the first sin and want to convert it into second sin. So something like that. When the student is promoted from one section to the other section, from the first section to the other. So suppose if the employee is promoting, is getting promotion from IT department to management or something. So find the department, IT, convert it into, change it to something else. That is what is the meaning. Find is the string to be found. Replace is a string that needs to be replaced. And string is the original string. Like you have the section and you want to replace MSc first with the MSc second. So that is how it goes. So let's say I'm going to not go with that one. So I have this hello, how are you? I want to replace this hello with hi. So how do I do that thing is, this is the original text. I want to search for the word hello and I want to replace it with the word hi. So search for the word hello and replace it with the hi within the string that is specified here, the replacement string. There is last value, which is the count. Count will give you the count of occurrences that it has replaced. So when you are using find and replace in the word or the other editors, it will say five occurrences have been replaced. How many places it has changed? In this case, it's going to give you a value as 1 because hello is found only once here. If there was one more hello here, it would have again replaced that hello with the hi and the count would be 2. It will count how many times it has made the replacement. So you may ask, okay, why it's required? So suppose I want to convert a student, I want to promote a student from the first semester to the second semester. It's going to appear only once. So you take replacement, find the string, first string, replace it with the second string. I want only one replacement. After the replacement, I just search how many counts were there. If the count is more than 1, that means I am in big trouble because it replaced somewhere else, it got that string and it has replaced elsewhere. So it's like when you try to search for a record and you know that the record is unique, there must be one occurrence. If you search how many records were affected, if it is 1, you are safe. If it says I have affected more than one record, if the database says more than one record got affected because of the last insert query or update query or something, you are in much bigger trouble because this time it went and did something which you didn't anticipate it. Okay. The other one I will not show the thing because of the lack of time. The other one is if you have an array, you can do it. So instead of the last one as a string, like how you have a string here, you can have an array and you can say within the array search for the red. This is an array, red, blue, green, and you are saying within the array search for the red and replace it with the thing. So what will be the final output is first one will be the blue, second one it found the second one red, it will replace it with the thing. Within the array also you can use that thing. The next one is the word graph. Word graph, I hope you are all familiar with it. So when the words go beyond the screen, so this using, remember, so this using cannot be shown here. So what it will do is it will graph it to the other side. Remember, word graph occurs only when there is no space on the other side. If my length of the monitor was very large, this whole thing will come in one line. So always be careful with the word graph. Word graph occurs when there is a constraint. When there is no constraint, if you use this word graph, it will not graph it. Just because you said after 20 characters break it, it will not break because the line is still available. If 40 character space is available, we show everything in one line. So let's look at this one. So you have the string, you specify how many characters where the break has to occur. So you're saying after 75th character, I want the break, and you can specify which is the symbol that needs to be used for breaking. In a small text, it may be /n. /n works in the console, but BR, if you want to use it in the web document, this must be BR. And here cut is by default it is false. If you say it is true, it means whether you have a space or not, forcefully you are asking it to break it. So for example, if you say the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, and if you say break it 20 characters, so it will go up to the 20 characters. Let's say this was the 20 character, just assume that this is the 20 character, and it will put a BR here, so that on the browser this will be shown in the next line. Remember, if this was false, if this last parameter was false, it will not, if the browser had enough space to show the entire thing in one line, it will not break it into two lines. This breaking will occur only when there is a constraint. So when it finds that it can't show the thing, it will start breaking it out. If you want it to be forcefully break it, you are always saying true here, and you can say that I want the